Now this Benson and Hedges Cup competition is really hotting up, and all 8 teams in action today will have a very firm eye on Lords in the final, and that first prize, the winner's prize of £20,000. Yorkshire have done particularly well so far in the group stages. They won all 4 of their matches, and Hampshire won 3 out of their 4, so a good contest in prospect. Let's take a look at the teams. Good cover of talent with Yorkshire, nice even cover of talent. For Hampshire, of course, 2 exceptional players, Gordon Greenwich and Malcolm Marshall, both capable of swinging a match on their own. Fine day, lovely sunshine. Yorkshire won the toss. They elected to field, and we're going to join the action now in the 8th over of the day. The score was 15 for no wicket. Both batsmen had scored 7 runs each, and Jarvis is bowling to Greenwich.
Very well bowled. That was the one that darts back from outside the off stump. Greenwich picked it all right.
Greenwich making sure that he doesn't get completely trapped on the back foot. His first movement forward to Jarvis.
Great shot. Given that beautiful little assist around there. No great swing of the bat. Almost gently lifted it for 6.
Effortless stroke from Greenwich. Just shows what a magnificent player he is.
Quick single here.
Shout, and he's been given out. Greenwich doesn't really like that, but that's a vital wicket for Yorkshire. Kevin Sharp dashing in from gully. Underhand throw within more or less 1 stump, and Greenwich has gone.
Here we can see this again. The ball jagging back on Paul Terry, chopping it down into his pad, and Gordon Greenwich calling very quickly, setting off. I wondered about the other end, actually. And there, that ball hitting nearly a dead heat.
Well, that's a very important wicket for Yorkshire. And no doubt about it, Gordon Greenwich can certainly turn a match inside an hour. Tremendous player. He'll be very disappointed at that, but certainly it was a very tight run. And Kevin Sharp there, very quick, dashing in from the gully area.
Yes, a brilliant piece of fielding. I must admit, at the time, I thought he was throwing at the wrong end. Very disappointed Gordon Greenwich going here. Here we can look at it again. You see that ball moving quite sharply back off the seam. And off they go. Sharp very, very quickly in there. And just out. No question about that.
And there's been a change in the batting lineup from the card. David Turner's come in. Possibility because he's left-handed, keeping left-hander and right-hander there, which is making it more difficult for the Yorkshire bowlers to keep on a good line. That's a fine stroke. On the up, a little bit wide, but beautifully timed and kept down. Stuart Fletcher to continue now to Paul Terry.
Oh, and that was a beautiful delivery, edged, and a beautiful catch as well.
This is a superb delivery, pitching on the stumps, bouncing and leaving Paul Terry, but a superb catch there by Martin Moxon. This is one of the things that happens in one-day cricket. The first slip goes a little bit wider, and he picked that up beautifully down by his left-hand side.
Yes, and Martin Moxon used to do slip quite often at one time, was a brilliant slip fielder, and he got a few finger injuries and didn't do slip for quite a long time, but he's just got back in there again, and that was a good thinking on Yorkshire's part, because that was a very fine catch indeed.
59 for 2, 24 overs gone. This is a very good effort from the Yorkshire side, both fielders and bowlers, and the skipper as well. Splendid piece of fielding. That's typical of the way Yorkshire have worked this morning. Jarvis is down at deep fine leg and finishes it off with a great throw into Bairstow.
There are many discussions these days about whether modern players are better than their older counterparts. Something that has certainly improved is the fielding, and particularly outfielding. Players willing to dive all over the place, and a great example of that there by Paul Jarvis. Superb work.
It's more like Mark Nicholas's form. Just a fine edge to Bairstow, but a thick one, and Fletcher has his revenge, and Yorkshire have knocked over 3.
Similar to delivery, that was the undoing of Paul Terry. Ball outside off stump, just bouncing, leaving Nicholas a fraction, and a big thick edge to Bairstow. Hampshire 3 wickets down now to 68. As expected, a rather dejected Mark Nicholas makes his way from the ground. And Yorkshire just beginning to grab the initiative in this match. Chris Smith is the new batsman for Hampshire. His brother Robin, who regularly commands a place in this Hampshire side, unfortunately out of action at the moment, recovering from a broken thumb. Stuart Fletcher taking a rest. Phil Carrick bringing Paul Jarvis back into the attack. Carrick will be thinking if Jarvis can get another breakthrough, or preferably 2 before the lunch interval, then it's worth risking using up some of his overs now.
David Turner will be well aware of that situation. He's a very experienced player. Been around for Hampshire for a long time, made his debut 1972. A useful catch, sharp as the man at gully. It went off the bat very, very quickly indeed.
The ball moving late, and Smith was aiming to hit the ball through extra cover. It's gone off a thick outside edge and rocketed past Sharp's despairing dive in the gully.
Phil Carrick from the football ground end.
thinking by Carrick.
Eight runs from 3 overs from Phil Carrick. .26 to Turner, and it's 83 for 3. Very delicate. A nice stroke, a stroke of an experienced player. Didn't hit it all that hard, just placed it beautifully.
Shout there for LBW, pretty close.
Yes, and Turner sweeping. I think we'll see this hits him just outside the off stump. In fact, it turned a little bit.
The 100 up there for Hampshire in the 34th over of the morning.
Oh, and that's out.
Fine delivery there. Meant to go between bat and pad, probably just coming back a little. Probably didn't get as high as some of the deliveries, just a fraction low, but that's a vital breakthrough there. Side bottom bowling David Turner.
Yes, David Turner's played very, very well, but I think you'll see it's a little bit of a loose shot, this. He hasn't really moved his feet at all, just swung the bat. A great big gap between bat and pad. I don't think the ball did a great deal. Not a very good stroke.
Carrick has turned in a great performance here today as skipper of Yorkshire. First of all, putting Hampshire in, turning the screw on them, and now he's taken a wicket and has conceded only a handful of runs in this his 11th over.
A shot of complete desperation by Kevin James. Couldn't get Carrick away at all, steps back, just a half-hearted stroke, and easily caught by Metcalfe in the covers.
The very last ball of Carrick's 11 overs produces a boundary from Malcolm Marshall. Doesn't really do any enormous damage to his figures. 11 overs, 2 maidens. 1 for 19, and justifiable applause from this excellent crowd here at Headingley. Fine effort from Yorkshire skipper Phil Carrick.
Forced bowling change at the football stand end. Peter Hartley to Malcolm Marshall.
Safe, only just out of the reach of Carrick. And it's 4 runs. And Fletcher has got through again. He's been a bit wayward in length and direction at times. He's bowled no balls and one wide, but he's also picked up 3 priceless wickets for Yorkshire. Moved the ball around off the seam a considerable amount, and Chris Smith is the one to go for 26. 65 balls it took him. Here's Bob Willis.
And the hallmark of Fletcher's bowling today has been the late movement off the seam, usually into the right-handed batsman. That's gone right through Chris Smith's defence and at the top of the middle stump. Fine work by all the Yorkshire seamers today. Fletcher in his last over picking up 3 wickets.
Well, that will please Fletcher. The very last ball of his 11th and final over. He's gone past the outside edge. 3 for 41 in 11 overs. No maiden. Good movement off the seam again, as has been the case for much of this morning's play for the medium pacers.
Oh, there's a chance of a run out here. And he's out, yes. Malcolm Marshall calling for the run to Gully. He was going to the danger end, really, but Nigel Cowley was very slow to take off, and Kevin Sharp had plenty of time to return the ball. Probably the one thing that was wrong there with Yorkshire cricket was that Peter Hart didn't get behind the wicket to take the return.
Marshall very keen on the run, Cowley not so keen. And Hartley doesn't manage to get behind the stumps, but he does quite well in the end to pick up the ball cleanly, remove the stumps just before the batsman crosses the line. Yet another blow for Hampshire, one they can ill afford. Cowley run out for 3, just 3 wickets left now, 145 for 7.
Oh, and that was a chance, and that could be vital because Malcolm Marshall's into death. He can certainly hit the ball hard, but that was quite a comfortable caught and bowled chance there for Peter Hartley.
Hartley just getting into his follow-through, moving away from the wicket, having to turn back and only managing to get one hand to it and spilling the chance.
Bobby Parks, of course, is the son of Jim Parks, who played for England a few years ago. And that's well stopped. There's a run out here, Fates, but no. David Mester had all the time in the world, but his aim wasn't too good. Difficult when you've got those big gloves on.
David Bairstow down there. This is down the leg side, goes off the pad. Marvellous stop by David Bairstow. And he rolls over and has a throw. But I don't think he'd have made any great shakes if he was playing against John Lowe there.
And in actual fact, he had so much time, he wouldn't realise that himself. He could have taken his glove off and still had a throw. But you don't realise that when it's all in the spur of the moment. Yes, and he's out this time. Went for the lofted drive. Good catch by Phil Carrick, because it's not the best seam ground in the world, this, and that just carried him. Did well to hang on to that.
And a great wicket for Yorkshire, this. Not quite up there. Malcolm Marshall trying to whip it. And it goes straight to Phil Carrick, who picks it up low down. Good catch, but disappointing end, really, for Malcolm Marshall. He was probably aiming to hit that one right over the top. So 154 for 8. I think Hampshire would like to have 20 more runs on the board, really.
And that's a fine shot there. With at least a couple. Ashley Metcalfe, the fielder. And a good return from the long boundary. that's a good shot. Jarvis aiming for the Yorker, and Parks catching it just on the full, and they take 3 for that. So this is the last ball of the Hampshire innings coming up now. And well bowled again by Paul Jarvis, right up into the block hole. No chance of getting the slog in, picking the ball up. And that was a very good last over there by Paul Jarvis. Well bowled indeed. Phil Carrick there, the Yorkshire captain. He'll not be unhappy with this score.
Perhaps more worrying for Phil Carrick was the thought that, despite getting in, no Hampshire batsman really continued his innings to be truly effective, and he saw 1 or 2 balls move rather nastily off the seam. But Gordon Greenidge was the great prize for Yorkshire. That run out early on, the man who could really have changed the innings, and a little flourish at the end from Malcolm Marshall, 24 to him, 174 for 8. It was a good all-round bowling effort, in fact. A little surprising that Arnie Sidebottom didn't finish his 11 overs, the full quota, 8 overs, 1 for 15, maybe some niggling injury there. Martin Moxon helped him out with the other 3. Phil Carrick, a fine example from the captain, slow bowler, coming into his own, 11 overs, 1 for 19. But Fletcher got the wickets, most of them anyway, 3 for 41, and he bowled some really excellent deliveries, again moving off the seam. So it left Yorkshire needing 175 to win the match, the run rate 3.18 per over. So let's join the Yorkshire reply now with the first ball of the 6th over. It's Andrew to Metcalfe, and there are 8 runs on the board.
And that is 4 runs. Another shot there through extra cover by Metcalfe.
Yes, a good stroke this. He didn't really get his foot to the pitch of the ball. It was a bit wide, but a lovely swing of the bat. He's a player that likes to play shots. Kevin James coming on from the football stand end. Left arm over the wicket. Kevin James bowling to Ashley Metcalfe. Lovely shot off his legs there. It's a very compact, composed player, this young man. A little bit of a misfield and 3 runs there. Bit of careless stuff in the field there by Steve Andrew. Here's Metcalfe clipping that beautifully off his legs. It wasn't a half volley, just let the ball come onto him and pushed through the line.
That's a clinking shot. Perfectly placed between the man at mid-off and extra cover.
Yes, not quite a half volley. Metcalfe right through the line of the ball and hits that high over extra cover.
Again, it was in the air, but once again, it was hit far too hard for the fielder to get anywhere near it.
He really is a beautifully free, striking player. Beautiful balance there. Clipped that high over mid-wicket. Super shot.
Great shot. Gave that one the full meat of the bat.
beautiful stroke, this. Well, any young men watching, that's how to play. Foot to the pitch of the ball, lovely straight swing of the bat. Bang. You can't hit it any better than that.
A beautiful shot from Moxon.
Beautiful batting by these two Yorkshire openers. Lovely half volley. Martin Moxon making no mistake with that. Super shot. Making things look pretty easy at the moment. Going along very well, almost 4 and over.
Nigel Cowley coming on from the football stand end to Ashley Metcalfe.
Safely away. Well over the head of the man at mid-on, Kevin James. Metcalfe's played his strokes well. He's not been afraid to hit the ball in the air today. He's cleared extra cover, mid-wicket, and now mid-on.
It's a luxury the Hampshire batsmen never afforded themselves against Phil Carrick. But the first time Cowley over pitches, Metcalfe strikes the ball cleanly down to long on. And the Yorkshire 50 coming up in 82 balls.
The shot played quite deliberately, well away over extra cover, right over the rope for 6. Quite a deliberate stroke, and very well executed by Ashley Metcalfe.
Metcalfe once again prepared to go down the wicket and hit the ball over the top. Tim Tremlett to Ashley Metcalfe.
It's a flashing square cut there, and third man had only about 20 yards to go, but he never even bothered. Really whistled away to square.
Metcalfe, with the keeper standing back, all the freedom in the world to go down the wicket and crack that one away through the offside. He really is taking control of this match.
It's gone for 4. No, it stopped right on the line, actually. But they go for 3 runs there.
50 for Ashley Metcalfe. Splendid innings, dominating this partnership right from the outset. Shake of hands with his partner Martin Moxon. Marvellous start for Yorkshire, 51 out of their 76 without loss.
And Malcolm Marshall coming back for another spell at the Kirksall Road end. First spell he bowled 4 overs, 6 runs, no wickets, so he was very, very steady. So it just shows how quickly Yorkshire have scored since he finished bowling.
Marshall to Moxon.
And what a return for Malcolm Marshall. First delivery to Moxon, just coming back a bit off the seam. May even have brushed his pad, and the off stump going out of the ground.
The extra pace of Malcolm Marshall bursting straight through Moxon's defensive shot, seaming back from outside off stump and removing that same stump.
You see it again here, the ball cutting back off the seam, and in fact Martin Moxon pulling his leg out of the way to try and play it there. See how he bent his left leg? If he'd have pushed that leg into it, it'd have hit the leg and he'd have got away with the LBW shout, I think. And Richard Blakey coming to the wicket now. He's only 20 years of age, one of the new Yorkshire breed of young batsmen, and been in particularly good form the last couple of matches. making a 99 and a 101. So it's Malcolm Marshall to Richard Blakey. And that's a fine delivery, first ball, nipping back again and going probably straight over the top of the sticks. Suddenly the tide must have come in. We're getting quite a bit of movement again here. That's certainly coming back a long way and going over the top of off stick. And that was a pretty good delivery there from Malcolm Marshall. Ashley Metcalfe been in quite a long time, and still he had to get out of the way pretty quickly.
Yes, very well directed. Just swaying out of the way in time.
A little bit of luck there for Ashley Metcalfe. Going to square cut Malcolm Marshall, bottom edge. And just missing the stumps.
Yes, a little bit of good fortune here. Square cut, bottom edge. Didn't really bounce that one very high. Just avoid getting past Parks. Although he touched it, they managed to get a single.
And that's Richard Blakey off the mark. And 2 or 3 in it for him here. Yes, they're going for 3. Not for hurry, but the return from Malcolm Marshall, but no problems. And there you see the comparison. Hampshire were 71 for 3 and Yorkshire 84 for 1 after 26 overs.
Andrews taken over from Marshall from the Kirkstall Lane end.
That's a fine stroke. 4 runs, no chance of cutting that off once it gets down onto those practice pitches.
Lovely stroke this from Richard Blakey. On the up. Hard wicket shot.
Once again, he was a little firm-footed in the stroke, but it still fairly whistled away to the boundary. Successive boundaries there for Richard Blakey.
And a wide swinging half volley. Not a lot of foot there, but very firmly struck.
On the trot. I think we might see that he gets his foot a fraction more towards the ball on that occasion. Certainly it went very well.
Brings the 100 up, and that was certainly the best shot of the 3 fours. Here we can see, I think he gets his foot a little bit closer this time. That's better. Lovely stroke.
shot there from Richard Blakey. He played 3 shots against Andrew when he was coming in from the opposite end. 3 blistering 4s. He's in good form. It's going to be Malcolm Marshall coming in from the Kirkstall Lane end.
Yes, the Hampshire skipper's been forced to bring Malcolm Marshall back. Only 50 runs needed, and Marshall has 4 overs to bowl. And the only way Hampshire can stop this going is to get some wickets quickly. So Marshall down the hill to Ashley Metcalfe.
In the air, but safe. Talking about Metcalfe having put in a mature performance here today. Last year there were times when he looked just a little bit shaky, although very promising. My word, he's played well out there today. That was a glorious stroke off Marshall. Quicker, but a bit more crooked.
Yes, it's just flicking the pad. Moved quite considerably off the seam and just beating Bobby Parks diving there. 4 leg byes.
Marshall will think it was quite as beautiful as we do up here in the commentary box, but he'll appreciate it from the cricket point of view. 2 great strokes there from Metcalfe in that over.
He swings the bat so straight, gives himself plenty of time. Boom. See how straight that bat is and how the top hand controls everything. Super stroke.
80 to Metcalfe and 29 to Blakey. That was quicker. It's just a little reminder to Richard Blakey that not everything he's seen so far today is altogether true.
Yes, I think he's going to have a nice big black bruise on his bottom there. He just missed the thigh pad as it cut back off the seam. He was waiting for that. He was waiting for that. Hit him for 2 4s in the last over, and I don't think Malcolm Marshall's likely to forget it. Magnificent delivery to finish the over. Just outside the off stump, and watch this bounce a little and leave Ashley Metcalfe off the pitch. It wasn't really across to that one. Malcolm Marshall's had all batsmen in trouble over the years. Magnificent bowler.
Stroke. There is a man out at long on. Quick enough to get across. It's Kevin James.
Lovely looking shot. Yorkshire can think themselves lucky to have so many good young players here.
Beautiful stroke. These two young fellows really have looked the goods today. Takes Yorkshire on to 149 for 1.
Yes, another lovely shot. Not a very good delivery with only 3 men on the offside. You can't afford to bowl outside the off stump, but Richard Blakey taking full advantage of that. A lovely stroke.
Another couple of runs there, square on the offside. Moving Ashley Metcalfe on to 82. And that's the 150 up for Yorkshire. And that's 4 runs this time. He slashed at that hard, thick edge, through the gully area, no gully there, and third man no chance of putting that off. So the score really flashing on now.
They say you make your own luck in this game, and Richard Blakey, with the bold way he's been playing, deserved a bit. Thick outside edge, past Nicholas, and yet another 4.
And a beautiful stroke there, just clipped away off his toes, square leg, nobody fielding there, no need to bother running for that.
Metcalfe has displayed admirable skill all round the wicket today. There, a leg stump half volley, dispatched summarily to the boundary.
Cover drive, Nigel Calvin around the boundary, just getting a foot to it, and just the 2 runs. And that's Richard Blakey's 50, his second of the competition. His highest score is 58 versus Lancashire here earlier this year. The way to finish the match. Magnificent square drive there by Ashley Metcalfe, really speeding to the boundary. That's a very fine performance by Yorkshire. They beat Warwickshire early in the season, the qualifying round, and Moxon and Metcalfe knocked them off, and they've nearly done the same today, just losing that 1 wicket. So that's a tremendous performance there by Yorkshire.
And that is the very conclusive evidence of Yorkshire's domination of this match, 178 for 1 after 45 overs and 5 balls. Marvellous performance by Ashley Metcalfe, 93 not out, innings of class but yet solid, and lovely stroke play from young Richard Blakey, a man of very much promise. Martin Moxon was the man out, dismissed by Marshall. He too looked good. All round I thought Yorkshire's performance was excellent. No luck there for anyone but Marshall. His 9 overs, 1 for 18, leading the way, but never really the support bowling that was evident in Yorkshire's lineup when they were in the field. So there it is, that's the result. Yorkshire the winners by 9 wickets. So we say goodbye from Headingley, looking forward very much to greeting you at Old Trafford on Thursday. That's for the first Test match. Meanwhile, we leave you with one more glimpse of our Gold Award winner, Ashley Metcalfe.